What's up everybody, it's me Johnny G and welcome back to the channel. We're gonna do an unboxing for you today and this one is gonna be another board game. This time I am super excited because we are unboxing Steamforged Games Elden Ring, the board game. Now, I believe at this point in time, this is originally intended to be a multi-part board game, meaning what is here now is basically just the first part. There's going to be more eventually in the future as long as this continues to be successful, but as of right now, this here is essentially early areas of the gameplay, or compared to the video game itself. And we'll go ahead and continue to break that down here. But I'll bring you over to see the Kickstarter page so we can look over basically a couple of things that this includes. And I have what is their all-in pledge essentially with a couple of little bonuses. So we'll go ahead and break that all down here so that you guys can see it. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so we're on the Kickstarter page here and we're on the rewards tab. We're gonna go ahead and go through the different pledge levels that are available here and we'll kind of let you see what it shows here on screen, what comes with it. It'll probably be a little harder for you guys to see because it looks like it's kind of small on my OBS here, but we'll go through the 3 different pledge levels and then we'll go to the campaign page so you can see like pictures and things to go along with them just to compare. So you're kind of ready for what comes in these boxes. And the thing is, I've got 2 huge boxes behind here because I got the all-in pledge. So it has 2 separate things. And then we'll get to the unboxing portion. So first things first, there was an entry-level pledge, which gives you a discount off of what MSRP would have been. And then of course, with the entry pledge, you get the core game and you get the Weeping Peninsula standalone expansion. And then they have add-ons and things listed here, but a lot of these, if not all of them, I believe come with the all-in pledge. So you'll get all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about those. Now you also have the core pledge, which was an improved version. Again, you get the core box, but you also get the Realm of the Grafted King core box, Iron Fist Alexander, which was Kickstarter only exclusive miniature. And you get all the daily unlocks and bonuses that were unlocked throughout the Kickstarter campaign. And then an even bigger discount off of MSRP. And then of course you have the all-in pledge, which includes everything that was available, all the bonuses, all the expansions, all the additional add-ons and things like that. There is the Realm of the Grafted King core box, Weeping Peninsula standalone expansion, Stormveil standalone expansion, Flying Dragon Agheel expansion, which was an exclusive, Erdtree Avatar expansion, again exclusive, Iron Fist Alexander Kickstarter only, all the daily unlocks, and a massive discount off of MSRP. And of course you could buy additional pledge levels, you know, if you wanted to add on to it, or additional expansions and so on and so forth, which is really, really cool. But one of the other neat things was later on during the portion of the, like after the Kickstarter expansion and everything went to the pledge manager, they added a couple additional things on. You could get the Spirit Ashes. You could get these kind of like whitish clear looking versions of the Spirit Ashes, which was really neat. They were the miniatures, and then of course there was some other double-sided tokens or play things or something. I know I got the Spirit Ashes for sure. I don't remember if I got the other thing. So we'll look at the boxes and we'll see for sure. And it's probably listed in either the updates or the campaign. But let's go ahead over to the campaign itself. And the original estimated delivery for this was May 2024. This project, let's see, when did it start? Okay, so this, scrolling through the updates, I finally found that this project launched back in November of 2022. So I've been waiting 2.5 years for this at this point. This is crazy. It's taken this long for them to finally get this out there. A lot of delays and things like that. And with a huge project like this is even bigger than most of the other ones that they've done before, including the Resident Evil board games and Monster Hunter and so on and so forth. This is a much bigger game and much more to it, I believe. But this is one of those cases where you can play it solo, you can play it co-op and so on and so forth. So it's very, very interesting. But again, November 22nd is when it officially launched, and the campaign itself December 2nd, 2022 is when it was officially completely funded. And then we started to get onto like the pledge manager and so on and so forth at that point. But they had a lot of updates, and one thing with Steamforged Games is they're really, really great at talking through the projects and giving like really in-depth details about the process of making it and all that stuff. They're really good with that, and I do appreciate them for those kind of things. But there's going to be a lot here to go through, and I'm kind of excited to do it, but also very, very excited to actually play this. And again, I have not actually beaten Elden Ring. I haven't even played the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion because I haven't even gotten that far in the main game. I've taken my time with that one. And it's actually the first Souls game that I've played, period. But I started streaming it like when it came out initially. I was still on Twitch and stuff at the time. But it's one of those things where I didn't get through it. I've not quite finished it. So that's something that we might be doing here for the channel. I might go through and do some Elden Ring gameplay for you guys with a couple of things in mind. I have some ideas on how I can do it for a series here on the channel. But let's continue here with the board game itself. Let's go to the campaign page. We went over the different pledge levels, and of course, here's some stuff that you can see. 1 to 4 players, they recommend age 14 plus, 120 plus minutes per session. So it's a long play time for this. And you can see here that there is a large look at all the different playbooks and miniatures and so on and so forth, boxes and sets here. And again, this was a Kickstarter campaign initially at the tail end of 2022. So it's been a long time coming. But this is early game for Elden Ring. And they initially had said that they planned on doing more. They plan on expanding this and adding more to the game. And now that we have the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion and so on and so forth, with this releasing, as long as it's successful, and so far Steamforged has been great with all the companies that they partnered with, as long as it's successful, I have no doubt in my mind that they'll be able to secure the rights to continue making more and to make more board games. I believe they made a Dark Souls board game, and that's what got them, into this, got them the rights for this. But they've also done like Horizon Zero Dawn, and again, the Resident Evil and the Monster Hunter board games. But here we're just looking at all this basic stuff, the initial things. There's the entry pledge, the all-in pledge, and all this stuff. Here's all-in, has everything. 90 plus hour replayable campaign, 2,500 plus cards, 100 plus miniatures. We've got all that to open up. Now I'll do my best to show off everything that I can. We probably won't get to go through every little thing for you guys, just because there's so much that I'm gonna have to go through and look and kind of match up here with what was given. But it's definitely gonna take a lot of time to go through all this and then to actually set it up and enjoy playing it. So that could be something in the future that we do with you guys. But you get a lot of really cool enemies. There's Margit, the Fell Omen, a lot of cool components. These are modular hex tiles that are used to build out your map. Attack and effect cards, enemy cards, boss cards. These are for like behaviors and things. Guidance of Grace cards, profile cards, round table, merchant, materials, all kinds of stuff. Ring-bound quest books. Actually, ring-bound look like hard cover on either side. Quest books, tokens, dashboards. There's a paper rule book and stuff. I always love how they print their rule books. They are very easy to see. But here's the Weeping Peninsula expansion. We're just kind of scrolling through this stuff. Here's different minis and such. Misbegotten, Rotten Strays, Winged Misbegotten, Too Scaly Misbegotten, Misbegotten, Leonine Misbegotten, which was a boss there. And again, here's all these components and so on and so forth. Stormveil Castle. And there's all these different roles and stuff that you can play as well. I like the samurai. That's what I started out as on my first build. And I still don't know like the fine tunings to building a character and whatnot, like what I should go for each type and so on. Even with watching people play the game, as much as I've watched people, I've not actually understood that concept of how to build a character properly. So this is neat. There's an encounter map, a special encounter map for the Flying Dragon Agheel boss fight. Erdtree Avatar expansion. Look at that miniature. Now this is just a render, an initial early on render that they did. So these are all little things that they'll probably look similar, if not a little bit different, in the final, boxes here. But then we had all these daily unlocks: skeletons, Mad Pumpkinhead, there's a warrior, 18 tiles, 10 plus hours of quests, a wretch, demi-human queen, 3 bears, 2 rune bears, quest books, and extra box, and so on. These were other unlocks, all kinds of different unlocks and things that they had for us. And that's pretty much it. And we'll get to go through all of it, but I just want to see what those little add-ons were on the Pledge Manager, and then we'll finally get started on actually opening this up. Okay, so here was the additional add-on. So it was the exclusive Spirit Ashes that, as you can see, they are really, really neat looking. You could add these onto the pledge, as well as these dual layer player boards, which were just to help with, giving an additional version of the player board to make things a little bit better. But the Spirit Ash tokens, the minis, were really, really cool, and they have that clearish look to them. So that's that for going through the pledge. With that, let's go ahead and start opening these boxes. Alrighty, so I got my trusty little pocket knife here. And again, let's just give you a look here. These are so heavy, but there's 2 of these, and they're massive, massive boxes. Like super, super heavy. I don't even want to know what they weigh, but I struggled just to get them in here. And I'm not the strongest guy, but I'm not extremely weak either. So if I had trouble, that's a heavy box. We'll bring it a little closer here. And I tried to zoom the camera out just a tad to make it easier. Ooh, first things first, we got a layer of foam on top. Ooh, look at these. Holy crap, is that... Wow, this box is massive. They have foam all around it to protect it, which is amazing. But this is so huge, it's hard to get out of here. Oh my, look at that. Whoop, that fell over, but look how freaking huge this is. That is an insane box, and it's split right down the middle. There's like a seam there. That is so cool. Let's get this. Hopefully we didn't wreck it. Whoops. We have the Erdtree Avatar expansion. And this here is Limgrave Depths. And look at the box. Look at the map printing on the boxes. That is so cool. Arise now, ye Tarnished. All right. So let's dig into this first box, because simple enough. I've gotta get into this, and I've gotta see what all's in these, and then move it out of the way so we can open the second box. But let's start with the first one here. And there's a little bit of an opening. I won't have to cut it. A little slight ding on the cardboard box. I know some people won't like things like that, but me, it don't bother me, because as long as the stuff inside is good, I'm cool with it. I do love the boxes though. They are really well made. Let's try our best here to get into this. So open that up. All right, and right off the bat, we have a tray of miniatures right off the bat in the top. And then we have some books here. So we have a scenario book, which it's got like a cardboard type cover with paper inside. And this explaining our different scenarios and things for this box, ways to set up your boards and so on and so forth, boss encounters, NPCs and things, how to deal with them, which is pretty cool. And then we have a rule book, again, a little more solid of a cover, and lots of stuff, game components. There's a breakdown of that, assembling components. So there's a couple things we'll have to assemble. Weapon cards, how everything works, the campaign, which usually their rule books will have like a tutorial version campaign thing in it. So I don't know, we'll have to see if that's the case. But there's how to play the different cards, enemy turns, specific combat rules, bosses and boss setup, and so on. And then we have our different encounter books and stuff here, which again, just like I said when looking over the Kickstarter, they are spiral bound. Now, it isn't hardcover like it kind of looked like it may have been, but it's a solid like cardstock cover. So these are all different encounters, how to set them up, how to handle them, and then you have to use these in conjunction with the rule books and scenario books. There's B, C, and D all in there. So A, B, C, and D, there's 4 total encounter books. That's crazy. Further on, we have the Elden Ring Board Game, Realm of the Grafted King. Here's the campaign structure, which is just like a breakdown for how you can play it if you have all the expansions and so on and so forth. So that's kind of a neat thing to look at. And then here, these are basic player boards and stuff that we can see. So these are different things that you'll set out when you're setting up your campaign. And again, there's 4 of them because you can play up to 4 players, which is cool. We have our boards here with things to punch out, our tokens and different things. Of course, these are counters of some sort for various points in the game. And now we have a ton of trays of minis, and there's so many really cool minis in here. Giant bats, the soldiers, giant rats, all kinds of different enemies. This is wicked, and they're so detailed. I'm really anxious to look at the boss tokens though. Like, these minis are awesome, but I'm so pumped to see some of the bosses. And I can see some of them already. Just a quick glimpse. Here's some small enemies. Some of the little ones there. Different rats and wolves and things. And I'm not going to open every little thing and show you like everything in super detail, just because there's so much content here to go through. But, whoops. But the game alone is huge. Wow, okay. So we gotta be careful because they're starting to flop around, but there are some of the boss enemies. Let's open this. I will open these and show you guys some of them. So there is one of the initial encounters in the game that everybody made some parodies of. Oh, cool, this is our first little major fight. This should be easy. Nope, you died. This guy destroyed so many people. I love the shield. This might be a set of minis that I might actually be interested in painting. Being involved in painting these would be really, really cool. The little underground like cat demon thing. These things always creep me out. And then here is Margit, the fell omen. If it'll focus on him instead of me. Really neat there, really high detail. There's this tail thing sticking out. So awesome. Wow, there's so much to this. And then here in that same box, here's a lot of those tokens. the little like map things, the hexagons that we put together, they're all wrapped up in plastic in there. Ooh, looks like we have one more thing down in the bottom here. And this is another thing that Steamforged has also gotten much, much better at, and that is taking their boxes of stuff like this and having these different trays to organize, because they've given trays and things like this before, but as they went through things with the Resident Evil board game, they've added so much more of this content to it. Now in here, it looks like we just have mostly our game cards. Here's the little pieces and bits for assembling those counters and things like that. We have some different game cards and enemies and so on and so forth in here. Make sure I get that organized right before I hold that up for you guys to see. So there's a ton of game cards in there, and that is weighing a lot for this box. So we'll get that reassembled here, and then we can start to check out the expansions. Alrighty, so there is our first box reassembled. I'm gonna put that in the big box that it came in. And next up, we'll take a look at, let's go with the Erdtree Avatar. That seems like a smaller, thinner box. And then we'll go with the Limgrave Depths. Now, I don't see it on these so far, but one thing that was pretty cool with the all-in pledges for the Resident Evil board games is they have printed on the outside of the boxes, like the outside edging names, the names of the major backers, or like the ones that got the all-in pledge. And so if any of you guys have the Resident Evil board games, my name is printed on them. So I am somewhere. You can find my name, John Groman, Groman, is printed on the sides of those boxes. So you'll find me, and it's just pretty neat. But yeah. So in here, the Erdtree Avatar, here is, ooh, a playboard. This is for the encounter stuff. That is awesome. Oh, try to pull it this way so you guys can see it's got printing and stuff on it. Golden Land, dismount, armored, critical hit, reposition, stand fast, different things here. And flinging it everywhere. Folds up nicely. We have a very small scenario book, so not a lot here to it, but that's in here as well. And then again, we just have some different miniatures and tokens, and we have the Erdtree Avatar itself there, which I'll take out and give you guys a quick look at it. And that was one that, as I said, look at the miniature when I showed off the page. There's so much detail to these minis. It's incredible, and it's hard for me to hold it up with one hand to show you, but really, really cool. And there's their SFG Steamforged Games logo. And next up, we have Limgrave Depths. And then we'll go ahead and dig into that second box. Take the plastic off of this one. And let's open this up. Okay. And same as the last one, first thing we've got is a rule book. And it is a little bit thicker because there's more to this. And I think with this, you're dealing with a lot of the catacombs and such. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more encounter books, all specifically for this box. And again, same style, thicker cardboard backing with the shiny like magazine like paper on the inside. I don't know what exactly you call that. And then we have a small box of skeletons in here, skeleton warriors to fight. And then down inside we have some of our little boss fights and so on, and we have the playable tokens that are included, one of which I want to show off with this set. So we got the rune bears and stuff. This one's actually taped shut. Some of the others weren't. But Here is the wolf guy, Blythe, everybody likes, with his big guts looking berserk sword. I have to be careful because touching that I was bending it, but there he is in all his glory. And now that we're done with that box, we're gonna go ahead and put this away. Let's open up the second one and dig into that. Now, same deal inside here. This is packed pretty well. I know you guys can't really see it, but we have an extra piece of cardboard in the top to protect it, which is kind of cool. And here are those bonus dual layer playing boards. So they are, again, the thicker double layer cardboard type that's a little more solid and easier to play with as opposed to those paper ones, the thinner paper ones. Now in here we should have, oh yeah, a lot of stuff. Here is the Stormveil Castle box. Let's just open it as we go for this one, so I can try to put it back together as is, this one at least, this particular set, because this is organized well. But we have the Spirit Ashes, Iron Fist Alexander, Weeping Peninsula, and the Flying Dragon Agheel expansions all down in here. And let's open up Stormveil Castle. Okay, again, we have a scenario book and a rule book, and 1, 2, 3, 4 encounter books. So A, B, C, and D for that. Here are some of the enemy tokens, again, the enemy miniatures. We have another just Stormveil Castle art piece, again with the campaign structure on the back. More player boards, because some of these expansions and things can be played standalone. Again, we kind of read that off. There's the different tokens and things here that can be punched out and used. Set those aside. And then this one not being as big makes it a little less heavy. It's bulky because of having some of the special minis and such with it, but oh yeah. So the way the minis worked and stuff for this one, there's a really big one, and we'll get to show you guys that here. But here's the first box, the different minis and things that are available. There's the Grafted Scion over here. You can see that. That's pretty cool. But then the reason why there's that big gap is here is Godric, the Grafted King himself. I believe that's the correct name. I don't remember. It's been too long. But yeah, if I got that wrong, correct me in the comments, but it's been too long. I remember beating him, and I started doing a whole bunch of other stuff after. I don't remember how far I got the first time I played this, so I'm definitely going to restart the game for sure. But I have some ideas on how, some different like character-based builds to do for you guys. And then the last thing in the bottom where he sat was all our cards and our board tokens and so on and so forth. So we'll go ahead and start putting all this back. Another thing that's cool, a lot of their games will come with these little like bags to help separate things, just because there's always a lot of little pieces and things, and the little spinners and things like that. They'll give you those to help spread it out a little bit, which is pretty cool. Or organize, rather, would be a better word. And next we'll do the Weeping Peninsula box. There's just so much content here, and the amount of replayability is so cool. In some ways, I kind of doubt that I'll ever really get to experience all of it, and it just that kind of thought crosses my mind. But all right, first things up, again, rule book, scenario book, all the same type of thing there, since again this can be a standalone. We have 4 encounter books. They're pretty good at dividing them up into 4s, it seems. Some more enemy minis. And our Weeping Peninsula, page, same again, our player boards, tokens, separatable things. And then down inside, we have more bags, the little things for the spinners, the tokens. And then we have our last little box here with all the cards. There's the Leonine Misbegotten, the different player tokens, and the Winged Misbegotten, the different enemies and such. And then our little boards and things up there. And last for the large boxes here is the Flying Dragon Agheel expansion. And we'll look at this, then we'll check out Alexander and the Spirit Ashes, which are in the smaller boxes. I just kind of figured go through the bigger boxes so we can keep them all, again, in the order they are in, at least in this box. Now, same as the Erdtree Avatar earlier, this one has a board of its own. This one's a bigger board. We have a 2x6 space board, squares, I should say, instead of by, what was the other one, 2x2. So let me make sure we get this back the way it was, because that's a nice board. We have our scenario book, which this one's real thin, and then we have a massive miniature here, as well as the cards for it, and that's all in there. There's the deck of cards. So let's open it up. I want to pull this miniature out and show you guys. This ain't a miniature. This is a mega size monster. Holy crap. This is probably the biggest mini of any kind that I've gotten in any of these kind of board games. Holy, this is bigger than any of the ones in Monster Hunter. That thing is huge. It's as big as my freaking head. That is so cool. And even the detail, like the underside of the wings there, the legs, his little dragon ding dong going on there, and the tail. Like, this is crazy. Oh, the level of detail is awesome. I love it. I wonder if anybody's painting these yet that's received theirs. I'd love to see what they look like. That is a cool character. My wife's gonna love that one. She's obsessed with dragons. She knows so much about like dragon lore and stuff. She could go on and on all day. There was the first convention that we went to together. She actually talked to this museum owner, and I forget what exactly the deal was, but I just vaguely remember that they had all this, like, it was supposed to be like an actual, like a fantasy type museum that this guy ran, and it was somewhere in Mississippi. And the funny thing is that she sat there talking to this guy and giving him all this information, and he just kind of looked at her and he's like, if you ever feel like moving to Mississippi, you'd have a job right away. I'd hire you right now. And she just kind of was like, well, thanks, but I'm not planning on it, but I appreciate it. Like, yeah, she has all that knowledge up in there, so she's gonna love seeing that. And we have our last two little boxes in here, the Iron Fist Alexander and the Spirit Ashes. So let's go ahead and open Alexander so we can see him here, and then we'll open the Spirit Ashes and see if they really do look like how they were trying to show them on the pledge manager there. That would be so cool. And let's carefully open that box. And then inside there's his cards and set right behind him. And then here is the warrior jar himself, Alexander. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool details for him. And, you know, we got to give him that good old butt smack to knock him out of the ground, you know. But that's awesome. And again, he was an exclusive. You could only get him through this, so through the Kickstarter, or unless you can find somebody that's selling their own. And last but not least, we have these Spirit Ashes, and this is a ton of content to go through and unbox. If I had a lot more time, I'd sit down and I would probably open every little thing with you guys here. I know I did the same kind of thing with my Cyberpunk board game unboxing, that I didn't open every last little detail for you, but I still hope that I gave you a good enough glimpse with that, and I'm hoping that I'm giving you a good enough glimpse at this, so you can at least, the purpose of this is kind of just to unbox and give you a preview of what all is available for this game and what you can find, whether you go hunting the exclusive stuff on eBay or places like that, third-party sellers and so on and so forth, or if you're just looking into the board game, you want to see what all is involved with all the expansions, I can at least show you a glimpse of it, and that's kind of where we're at. And then here we have the Spirit Ashes, and yes, indeed, they do look like that. They are clear. I gotta be careful. That one's a little shaky, but we have them all here. Those are awesome. I love it. I love the clear transparency to these, but still having a massively detailed miniature. So with that, fellow Tarnished, we finished our unboxing of the Elden Ring board game from Steamforged Games. Again, I hope I gave you enough of a good enough preview that you could see what was available here and what you liked or didn't like out of it all. I hope this was a pretty good unboxing for you all and a bit of fun, but that's it for what we have now. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to find a place to put this for now, and until I get a container that I can condense it all into and get rid of these boxes. But for now, they're just gonna have to kind of stay as is. This was awesome though. I'm excited to dig in and actually start playing, so maybe we'll do that soon. Maybe we'll do a video with a actual playthrough, a start to the playthrough, because it's going to be a lot. We could either do a video or we could maybe even do a live stream. We'll see how it is. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. And as far as Elden Ring goes itself, let me know in the comments what your favorite build is. If you've played the game, what your favorite build is to play as, your favorite class, and so on and so forth. I'm thinking about going through and playing the game, like I said, with some different experimental builds based on characters and things that I like. So we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research before I do that. But I'd like to actually finally sit down and beat the game properly and then do the expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree. So we'll see how it goes. But with that being said, that's it for this one. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and all the other videos on my channel. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you all. And with that, that's it for this one. We will see you next time.